Tamanna, and I'm the founder of Conversite. So my session is all about the end of broadcasting and the beginning of conversations. Where do conversations happen? In rooms full of people, such as this. So let me tell you that how I realized the power of rooms, or online communities as we call them. When I saw that 40% of conversations that happen in online communities or rooms full of people are all leading to some sort of a product or a brand discovery. Even if it's a conversation asking for some information, it eventually leads to a product or brand discovery. I realized this after 3 years of building communities, building parenting communities on Facebook, WhatsApp. And I just asked myself, if it was possible for a marketer to engage with consumers in these rooms, it would be a dream come true. And that's where the whole idea of Conversite was born. Conversite as a platform helps marketers tap into these rooms of people that come together organically around a pain point, a passion. So think food, think hiking, parenting, beauty. And we also help brands create these rooms. So it's just a concept that's never heard of. But first off, who creates these rooms? What is their inspiration? What value do consumers get by organically being a part of these communities? I just wanted to show a video. Can we play the video, please?
I started the community because I was very passionate and I always loved cooking. So cooking has always been a part and parcel of my life. You know, somewhere when I got married, I did not know see of cooking. So I thought of creating my own community where I can, whatever I cook, I can share with my people, and they can also likewise share their own recipes. I created a group in the year 2015 January. I added few of my college friends, my close friends, my neighbors, and that's it. 20-25 people I added, and it was like fabulous, seeing that jump. Today our group is 5 lakh members. Not everybody gets a ticket to my community because I am very, very choosy. If members are added, I have to make sure that they are genuine. The conversation basically is all around food from morning breakfast till night dinner. One of the members, we had a plate of leftover rice. So a lot of people, they got into that post and they commented you can make some different varieties of recipes like chila, pakora and all that. A couple of days back, a woman, she added more salt into the food. Now what can be the solution? So a lot of moms, they came forward and they have suggested their solution there, to the problem. So it is like a quick fix. Basically, they come and get the solution.
So I hope that gave you some insight into what are these rooms. We just saw a room full of 500,000 people online. I don't know what would it take to fit that many people in a physical room, but we just saw those people talk about food. And food is very broad. This is jhatpat food. So this is quick recipes. Why did the person create it? What is her inspiration to not just create it, but scale it at that level? And what value do members get? Now this is one such room. When we look at the communities, a certain section of communities, there's 63 million people talking in rooms just around food, whether it's weight loss recipes, whether it's veg recipes, or weight gain recipes for kids. And that's the beauty. Communities have finally arrived online. In terms of scale, there's 2 billion people now talking in communities on various social channels. What are the platforms that come to mind when we think of communities? Facebook groups? Instagram is not a community because people are not talking to each other. WhatsApp, thank you for saying that though. Telegram? Snapchat is again not a community because people are not talking to each other. Reddit, Discord, Slack. Just look at the breadth of this. All categories, whether it's a parenting or a Web3, there are communities across all categories, across all geographies. Some of the newer sectors like Web3 are totally built on communities. Just take a moment and think what all communities are you a part of. I'm a part of 3 different types of communities. Founder communities because I'm a founder, parenting communities because I have an 8-year-old, and food communities because I love cooking and baking. Quora is not a peer-to-peer conversation community. So Instagram, Quora, Snapchat, we've all witnessed this evolution from balconies to halls. Now we've made it very simple. All the digital touch points that you and I have as a consumer or as a brand, we have a simple framework. They are either balconies or halls. How did we all step online? We stepped online in balconies. An individual or an influencer or a brand, we create a page which is like a balcony, and then we have, so this is sort of a balcony because this is one way, it's broadcast. So this is a balcony. People stepped online, brands stepped online, all of the marketing, paid marketing, broadcasting, all advertising sits on these balcony platforms. So I hope it's clear what Instagram is, what a YouTube is, what a Facebook page is, what a LinkedIn is. Let's now look at halls. What are halls? Like I said, halls are rooms where people are talking to each other. And now try to answer that question again, that what halls are you all a part of? Again, it's been an evolution. Halls have come into existence because there is a trusted digital identity we all have now. That wasn't the case 10 years back. So it's been a gradual evolution. I'll talk about a few differences between balconies and halls. First, the growth. How do these platforms grow? It's push versus pull. Most of the followers on balconies are garnered through paid marketing. There is no way to run a paid ad and grow a Facebook or a WhatsApp group. How many of you have seen an ad to join a WhatsApp group? Or a Facebook group? Or a Slack channel? How many of you have seen ads to follow a Facebook page? Or an Instagram? That's okay. So how the growth happens, push versus pull. 2 billion people have organically joined these halls. Next is how do people engage on these 2 sets of platforms, which is the engagement rate. In balconies, the average engagement rates are between 10 to 15%, which means one person engages 0.1 times in a month. And of that 10%, about 90% is reactions. It's like I'm standing here, you all will just clap, right? I'm sure there's questions, but in the end it's a clap, and that's a reaction. So there is passive engagement. But in halls, average engagement is 600%. One person engages organically 6 times in a month, and half of it is conversations, because that's what we'll do during lunch. It'll become a hall. This balcony is going to transform into a hall. The third is who creates content. So in balconies, content is created by the brand or the influencer, picture perfect content, because the job is to influence through the content. In halls, content is created by you and I. It's the people that are part of those communities because they are talking. And it's this talk, this peer-to-peer talk that creates influence, leads to purchase consideration. So I'll give you a second to read this. I know it's a very bold statement, but the reality is communities need to be an integral part of the marketing mix. Why? Because they are an integral part of the consumer buying journey. We're not just searching keywords on Google anymore. We are going to groups and asking questions. And we suddenly have tens or hundreds of people responding to that. So it's my personalized search engine. So when this became clear, we asked ourselves these questions that why are brands not leveraging communities? Like it doesn't make sense. Everywhere else on the internet, I see an ad, the brand has the ability to broadcast an ad. Why is it that there are these rooms that are sort of walled off from marketeers? So we went and spoke to a few brands, and this is what we found. There is just no way to discover communities, to tap into them, to get insights, to do any sort of reporting. No listening platform in the world, and there are thousands of those, has the ability to listen into communities. Almost 50% of communities in the world are private. So it is literally a walled garden. Try searching whatever your interest is. If it's not food, dance, just go to Facebook right now and try and search put it in the search bar, and even if you see a list of groups, try clicking on it to see what's happening in the group. You won't be able to because it's a private group. No discovery, no insights, no ad products, no agency, nobody can get you to communities. So leave alone data-driven reporting. So then we were like, what would be the lay of the land if this was possible? And that's the topic of my talk. We said, and we told ourselves that consumers have evolved and have moved to communities. Marketers are still playing catch up just because there is no way to tap into them. But if this was possible, it would be the end of broadcasting and the beginning of conversations. And that's why we created Conversite. That was our aha moment. We said someone has to do it in the world. Let's create a platform that very simply aggregates, combines all these rooms across platforms, so Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Reddit, Discord. We have access to all these communities. And let's give these community creators the opportunity to earn. You saw one such creator on the video, Nazia. Let's give them the opportunity to earn through meaningful brand partnerships, by which she'll get more value to her community members and she will earn. So we did that, and today we are at a scale of 100,000 communities with 700 million members. And about 70% of them are from India. And again, this is, just think of a crazy category in your head and there'll be a community. There's a community on bird watching, there's a community called Husbands of Doctors, there's a community on fused glass fanatics. It's insane. So just go and search for fun and you'll be like, I have never found a topic on which there is not a community. So it's that crazy, you know, it's that specific. It's really those water coolers where people come together organically. We work with consumer brands mainly. So in the last 2.5 years, about 160 brands have embraced communities, either tapping into them for insights or driving advocacy through engaging with these consumers or building their own rooms, which is just unheard of. Brands and consumers coexisting in these rooms. So this is the scale that I was talking about. We've processed over 2 billion conversations. And these are not hi, hello, you look cool, emoji. These are like the average length of a conversation is 70 words. Like it's a conversation, it's two people talking. So we have those conversations and we're able to get insights from those. Just in terms of last 6 months, there's been 1 million user generated content which is generated through certain marketing activations. So what kind of objectives can the brand drive? Brands have a lot of jobs to be done. And it's very interesting, when we started, something seemed like no-brainers. A product launch. Let me just go and create massive word of mouth. Or I want to create some awareness in a new category. Let me just go to South-specific communities, you know, Tamil communities, and go and talk about this. But over the last 2.5 years, we found there's a lot of brand jobs to be done which could be mapped to communities, whether it's lead generation, sampling, building your CRM database, and more. I spoke about this, but the capabilities that we have built, and I think every marketer should have access to it with or without Conversite, is one, inciting into communities, driving advocacy by accessing existing communities. So a Maggie should have the ability to go and tap into 2,000 communities where people are talking about snacking or food. And third is building your own branded community. So these are the capabilities that we have. How do we measure effectiveness? For any marketer here who wants to test the waters, we do all this, and then what's the ROI? How do I measure if it's impacting, and what part of the funnel is it impacting? Communities help drive, trigger, and multiply word of mouth at scale. Really drive consideration through peer-to-peer influence, and we measure it in 3 ways. First, no points for guessing, talkability. You go to a room and you trigger a conversation, the first thing you want to see is how much has it impacted the overall conversation. So there's talkability. Whatever you do, you want to go and pilot in one community, just measure how much has the conversations gone up, whether it's brand share of voice, category conversations. Second is, what has that talk led to? Some action. So whether it's a lead, whether it's a sample, whether it's a click leading to a purchase. And third is, did it eventually move the needle on mind measures? So that's the measurement framework. These are just some of the customers that we work with. Facebook is a customer. So we're building branded communities for Facebook. So I think from parenting to auto, there's a bunch of brands that have embraced communities now. I'm just going to take a couple of more minutes comparing and contrasting Balcony and a Hall case study. This is a leading oral care brand where we've compared influencer, which is a Balcony, to a community intervention. Over 95% of budgets were in influencer marketing and the remaining were in community. Just look at this. The overall engagements with that influencer engagement with over 90% spends was 7.5 million. But the talkability amongst those were only 15,000, which is 0.2%. And in communities with overall engagements of 50,000, 42% were conversations. And if you double click, you'll see the difference. Even without any explanation, I think the first row is influencer, the second is communities. We're able to appreciate the differences on a marketing in a Balcony versus a Hall. So influencer does a lot of top of funnel awareness, a lot of emojis, short comments, and in communities people actually buy the product. Not only that, they ask, this was an oil pulling product, how do I use it? Can I use it on my 2-year-old? You know, tell me, can I use it with, along with using my sort of, my regular brushing routine? So that's the difference. I think I'm at time, so I won't go through it, but just quick 4 things for any of you trying to build communities. Please answer these 4 questions. Why am I building a community? What is my purpose? Is it to acquire? Is it for research? Is it for customer support? Where should I build it? On an existing social channel, on my own app? Is it just an evangelist community? What do I want the members to do? Or in other words, what's the value that the members are getting? Why should they join the community? And very, very importantly, how will I measure? So we've built a Google for Conversations, which is outside. So any one of you who wants to come and see, what are the rooms full of people around my category talking about, you can step outside to our stall. Thank you.